and welcome to another webinar at Marketing Doctor. I'm Shruti Padki, and today we, the team of content writers at Marketing Doctor, have come up with a comprehensive webinar on everything that you need to know about content marketing for medical practices. So, we'll take you behind the scenes of content marketing and we'll go through the process of content writing, the use of a style guide, and what are content blocks and why we need. So, as a specialty doctor, maybe a plastic surgeon, a dermatologist, dentist, or any other, you need content marketing in order to educate your patients, to share your knowledge and expertise with them, to increase your visibility online. And all this helps in building long lasting relationships and trust with your patients. So, let's dive in.
Content is king is a famous quote by Bill Gates from 1996. And since then, the content has evolved a lot. Not only the content, but the consumer and their needs have also changed a lot. Nowadays, they are actively present on various platforms, and every piece of content that we generate is directed towards the end user or the consumer to meet their demands or needs. And that is why consumer is the king now and the content has become a kingdom.
However, even though the consumer has become the new king, the importance, value, and need of the content, be it in any form, hasn't decreased. Especially in today's digital world, the consumer has been relentlessly consuming the content in various kinds of formats and is dependent on it just as the king is dependent and supported by his kingdom. So this content kingdom is made up of different forms of content, and in Marketing Doctor, we provide this content to our clients in the form of writing. So even in this written form, there are various kinds of content which include service pages, blogs, landing pages, social media posts, ads, and many more. So even though these different forms vary from each other in terms of length, actual content, writing style, and tone, there is one basic, common, and most important thing shared between them, and that is the research. So whenever we start writing a new writer, we understand the topic, we research about it, its various aspects, we collect all the information from credible sources, and as per the format, we start writing this new writer. So the first format I'll be talking about is service or treatment pages. So the service pages provide necessary information to the consumer, bring traffic to the website, and play a very important role in connecting the client to his consumer. So these service or treatment pages are do provide factual information in technical language. They have various sections in them to cover each and every aspect of that particular treatment or procedure, and we have to incorporate very important and necessary keywords with high search volumes in client locations to increase the traffic on the website.
Now, blogs. When we write content for service pages, the writing style is more on the formal side and provides a detailed information about a procedure. Whereas the writing style for a blog is different and is not technical like that of service pages. Here we try to address the problems faced by the end user or the consumer and explain the procedure briefly. We also highlight the benefits and the needs of a procedure to make the content engaging to the end user.
As for the Google and Facebook ads, we run these ads for different purposes like promoting offers, new treatments, webinars, etc. For these ads, as opposed to blogs and treatment pages, which are very descriptive and lengthy, we have to provide crisp and clear content within certain character limits to attract more consumers and make them click on the ad. So, for example, for Google ad, the character limit for title is 30, whereas for description, it is 90 characters.
Social media posts. Social media copies need to be engaging and creative. Facebook and Instagram are two popular platforms nowadays where the consumers are highly active. So, when it comes to Facebook, you can write lengthy captions and even include a links so that the user can click on the link and go to the respective pages for more information. On the other hand, Instagram is a photocentric platform. Too much text on the images will not get engagement. So your focus should be on writing engaging content via engaging headlines, description or caption, and relevant hashtags. Also, while writing social media copies, you need to keep in mind the design aspect of the overall social media post. And personalized content performs better when it comes to social media post, and it helps to increase your brand awareness and engage with your target audience.
As for the meta titles and descriptions, they play an important role in improving SEO of the website. So, similar to ads, these meta titles and descriptions are to be written in a restricted character length. However, the main difference between the both is that ads focus on the end result, whereas these titles and meta descriptions they have to incorporate technical names of the procedures, and we have to use important keywords to match the search queries of the end user to rank and optimize the respective page. The next format I'll be talking about is the top 5 pages. So these top 5 pages are very necessary and important to any website. So these top 5 pages include homepage, about us or why choose us page, meet the doctor page, testimonials page, and contact us page. These top 5 pages are written as per the needs and requirements of the client to highlight their uniqueness. The homepage includes the hero section and it gives an overview of the website. Hero section is of utmost importance as it is the first thing one sees on the website. So hero section needs to be visually attractive, it needs to have appealing content to engage the user, and most importantly CTA or call to action buttons to make the user explore the website. As for the about us or why choose us page, we have to talk about the clinic or hospital. We have to talk about their specialty and the services that they provide. In the Meet the Doctor page, we talk about doctor, his education, his qualifications, his experience, his special interest, and his achievements. In the contact us page, we provide necessary information which will be useful to the end user to connect to our client. As for the testimonials page, we present a collection of patient feedback and reviews from Yelp, Facebook, Google, and other such platforms. So as you see, these top 5 pages play a very important role in building the engagement and trust between the client and his consumer.
Email marketing. Content for emails is highly customized in nature. The challenge here is to provide a subject line that is clickable at the first go. That is why it should be concise and descriptive. Through emails, one can provide consumable content related to special offers on treatments like discounts and the general updates or even a newsletter. Email will help you to generate more leads as well as nourish your existing email list. This will also help you to build a relationship with the end users as you are timely providing them with the valuable content.
As for the landing pages, these are directly related to the ads. So the main purpose of the ad is presented on the landing page through focused information and call to action buttons or CTAs. So the main purpose of landing page is to derive traffic from ads and to provide focused information to engage the user and funnel him down to CTA and make him click on it to fulfill the purpose of the ad.
So Pranita and Nupur spoke about the different kinds of formats that content writing is done in. And every client has their own requirements for the type of content they want to put on their website, on emails, everywhere else, even on social media. So what ties us together as content writers is a style guide, which is nothing but a content rule book of sorts. So this is an example of a style guide. Here we mention things such as what tone we want to use for the content, certain guidelines for the grammar, the use of language. For example, for US clients, we will use US English. For Indian clients, we will use Indian English. So these are very small things, but everything adds up to how the content is written. So this style guide helps us to maintain consistency within a web page, that is, for example, one service page, and even across all the content written on that website.
So far from what Nupur, Pranita, and Shruti said, we understood one thing very clear, that content is a communication or a language that is transferred from the parent service provider, in our case are the doctors, to reach out to the end consumers, which are the patients. So let us see what are content blocks. So content blocks are basically the sections that we make out of the contents. We divide the content into various parts so that they create a flow of information which is available. For example, let's see on this any of the services here. Okay, so root canal. So as soon as the name root canal comes into your mind, there might be a plethora of questions. So the patient also might have various questions like, what is this treatment exactly about? Or am I really eligible to undergo that treatment? And when do I need this treatment? Or maybe what are the complications and what are the risk factors if I undergo this treatment? And how can be the recovery when I undergo root canal treatment? So there can be various questions that a patient might have. Content blocks, in their own way, what they exactly do is, they, because of dividing all this content into various parts, they answer all these questions in a precise way so that all the doubts in patient's mind are clear. So we have various parts in the content skeleton that we call that, whereas we have parts like overview of the topic, that is the treatment which we saw just now of root canal. The overview of root canal actually consists of only one or two sentences to give an idea of what the entire treatment is in brief. Then comes the introduction, then is your information capsule, then what is the disease exactly, or which means what problem the patient is facing, and what could be the symptoms of the problem, what could be the causes, what could be the risk factors, etc., etc. So these are the points that are contained in the content skeleton. We use this skeleton to divide the content again in parts and to create a flow of thought or flow of the information. So now let us see, once we have seen what are the content blocks, it's pretty much clear that everybody might have in their minds, like, what is the use of these content blocks? So what the content blocks can be beneficial for are, you as medical practitioners, you might be able to garner a lot of organic traffic to your websites, because if the patient is already getting so much of information in short but the accurate information on your website, he or she will again and again come to your website searching for the information and clarifying his or her doubts. So because of getting all such organic traffic, you can be also improved on your ranking on Google, and this can also help in accelerating your medical service practices. So all in all, what the content marketing involves is, it is the key ingredient basically in accelerating or generating or providing your services, medical services to your customers, that is the patients. And also content marketing provides a lot of traffic, as we said, and because of which you can again boost up your medical practices and medical services, because nowadays the patients, as they used to previously consult doctor directly for getting so and so treatment, but nowadays the patients are showing consumer like behaviors. And so what they do is, first they go onto the search engines, various search engines, and they search for various treatments information. And once they get the information, they'll directly search for the doctor's appointment, and so the process proceeds. So this was about all the content marketing for doctors or medical practitioners. If you have more questions or if you want to know more about us, you can always visit the website that is present on the screen, or you can also write an email on the mail ID provided on the screen. For more questions or more details, you can always put your questions in the comment section below. Thank you.